I've uh I've watched Dr. Cousens. We'd have conferences and he's come in person, and you seem very peaceful. You seem to be in a good state of mind. You seem very healthy. Dr. Pye, you seem like a very positive guy. I don't know you that well, but you seem to be positive and upbeat and happy, and it's really good. David, I've watched you lecture for years, and I guess you were very careful with your word choice. You seem to have really a super positive attitude, and I was never bored listening to you. You always had good energy and great words. So for those of us that really we've been all over the green juices and the food and the sprouts, and we're really conscious of our diet, um, really conscious about exercising, we're getting outdoors, but we still don't have this beautiful attitude of gratitude and compassion and empathy and awe and positivity and love. And we really, really would like to make the change. And we have lots of habits where we complain and we whine and we're critical and we judge and we think we're more important or better than someone else. And we really would do anything we could to make a shift at this point in our lives, to use the power of our minds and harness it for all it's capable of. But we're really not that good at it. What is the best, most impactful, most effective way to get our minds to work the way to be the most massively positive and using it to be compassionate and empathetic? What do you recommend that we do?
I like that. I'll jump into that one first. The number one thing for sure is do more of what you love. Do more of what you love. Find a way to do more of what you love. You can't always do it. I just had to move a lot of stuff here into the Houston area. It was a big project. Months and months and months went by, and lots of different pieces of it. I didn't always like the jobs that I had to do in that process because I'm not a mover. I'm not in the box moving industry, although when I became an author, I found out I was. But there's, you have to go through the things that you don't always want to do in order to figure out a way to do more of those things that you want to do. And that's the whole game of life, I would say. So the more that you're in that place of what you love, the more you're in God's pattern for you. That's really what it is. It's like when you're doing what you love, all time disappears. You have complete connection with God. You're completely with source energy, and you are happy and you're fulfilled. I mean, that's the real word, is you're fulfilled. And so this is the thing that I think is really important, is to look at your life and go, how do I do more of what I love? A friend of mine, this is so fascinating. And then I'll turn it over to Dr. Pye, Dr. Cousens. He had spent a lot of years, smoked a lot of pot, did a lot of drugs, had a lot of fun too, but he finally had to go into the military because he needed to just get himself sorted out. He was just out of control, had no discipline. And after all of that, and then came back, tried to run businesses, tried to do this kind of work and that kind of work, and then finally realized that what he really loved was just sitting behind his telescope. He loved sitting behind a telescope for hours and hours and hours. And you'd think, how in the world are you going to pay the bills sitting behind a telescope in your backyard out there in East San Diego? And we later found out we grew up in the same town. It was unbelievable. And then eventually, as fate would have it, the most unbelievable things he filmed and put out videos and just crazy stuff. Now he's got an incredible podcast, and he's one of the most iconic and interesting people on the whole internet. Very controversial sometimes and very middle of the road sometimes, and just loves to explore all the edges. But it came from something that would never pay the bills, what he really loved, which was being a telescope operator. But you know what? It did pay the bills, and it's now his whole life. So this is the thing, is you think there's no way or how I'm going to pay the bills or what's going to happen. You got to leap and the net will appear.
That's beautiful, David. I love it. I start with meditation as primary, and I start more internal. And so when I experience the self, which is kind of more and more constant here, it fills me with, I'm going to say, non-causal love, non-causal spiritual joy, non-causal peace, non-causal harmony. And so it's always coming from within. And then the outside activates more of that internal love, joy, peace, and oneness. So that's how I approach it. And when you're in touch with that inner self, everything else begins to glow. and you begin to see the inner self of other people, which is kind of the foundation of love, because love is to see the authenticity of another person. And if you know your own self, you can see the authentic self of the other person. So that to me is the number one thing in my life as it's evolved. And then being the expression of the inner self, which is just what you were saying, is you be the expression of what is, how you're being guided in your life, and ultimately then to be living it. So that's how it works for me.
Yeah, I agree with both of them. I'm always like, yeah, I agree with both these guys. Yeah, because I do. What they're saying is true. You know, doing what you love, being what you're passionate about, things just happen. Like, I think everybody wants to have this, like, what is the 10 steps I need to do? Like, too formal. Like, what do I need? You know, and that's where the problem is. I like to look at it as a journey. It's a process. And so self-reflection is important. But what I also find out is service. I think that once you provide service to others, in different whatever means that is, right? Well, it doesn't always have to mean like I have to go to the soup kitchen and volunteer my time. Service to others, helping other people, right? It's kind of like, you know, again, you're giving into the economy of love, or as Gabriel will talk about, or you're kind of putting your energy out there. It comes back. Nature's is, you know, rewards in kind exponentially. So a lot of times, you know, like, you know, even those people feel like, but I don't have much to give. We're not talking about money. You know, that's the problem with everybody's like chasing money, chasing, I want to do this, I want to do that, structure. My, you know, my apps are telling me all these things I need to do. No. Service. Did you help someone today? Did you say hello to someone at the store? Did you just kindly touch someone, pat them on the back? Did you help someone cross the street? These are profound things that have a butterfly effect. And so what I look at is, for me, is that I'm improving outcomes of my patients, but that's through service. It's not, you know, can you help someone help themselves on any level? And we don't have to judge it. It's nothing to be judged or scored. It's just doing it for being kind. And I think if people just really focus on that, things come back. It's, you know, it is one of those laws of attraction, but it's like, because you hopefully one day or sometime throughout the days have someone do that to you. And that's where we hopefully have to have that, you know, pay it forward aspect.
Hey, if you guys would each make a 1-minute closing statement on any final thoughts, anything you want to summarize with, anything you want to leave us with, you each take 1 minute.
I really appreciate everyone who's on this call right now for having a commitment to your health. I think that's a really awesome thing, and that you're willing to step out of the box and research and look at different ideas and learn something new. I really appreciate people who want to continue to learn. And so I want to just be in a state of appreciation to everybody who's here. Now, of course, I could never leave an event like this or an online summit like this without saying, today is the best day ever. It's all you got. It's all you ever have. Tomorrow will never arrive. Yesterday is gone forever. It's today. Today is the best day of your life.
Beautiful. First, I want to thank you, Steve, for your good work in making this happen.
Thank you.
That's and your questions were really excellent. So kudos to you. I want to thank, it was really fun being with David, an old friend, and I'm very pleased to kind of wrap with you too, Suni. So it's a good group, very enjoyable. So the final thought is to know yourself. When you know yourself, you begin to love yourself. When you love yourself, you're motivated to want to heal yourself. You're motivated to want to connect more deeply with your soul. And that's really the deep secret of life, is to be connected to your soul and let the expression of your soul emanate out into the world.
Oh, yes, I want to thank everybody for attending this, because that's the first step. Just having the interest, taking time out of our crazy, hectic world just to spend 2 hours to listen to 3 guys and 4 guys. And Stephen, thank you for the questions. Thank you for inviting us to speak, but just sharing perspective. I don't think anybody should be critical. I don't think people should try to think that they have to get everything that we talk about. Just do one step at a time. And that's why, like, hopefully, when people get inspired, that's just the inspiration of change. So I hope that this was very helpful. Try to eat a plant-based diet, try to take your, keep your inflammation down, try to have community love, try to increase your immune system functioning. That's kind of the basic gist of getting better. I like to always end, in my book, I end with, a quote. I like to use a lot of music. I'm known as the rock doc. And when David came over, we played drums and we had a great musical time. I didn't know David was so good at playing drums as well. So I always like to end with a quote saying, it has to start someplace. It has to start sometime. What better place than here? What better time than now? So thank you, everybody. Bless you. Best of health.
Like,
Blessings to everyone.